Okay, today is my first day doing day one of the one day my soul just opened up. There's a name. I cannot pronounce that, so I'm not going to. I've in this book, I got this from the library. It's supposed to be $1, but I got it for free because she didn't have change for 10. So a win is a win. A win is a win. So this book starts off with a introduction, as all books do. And then it starts with a daily process, which kind of explains how this book works and how one should use it. It talks about like a coloring method that you use one color for like if something stood out to you. It says use one color if you read something that rings familiar to you or true to you, and then use a different color if anything felt resistance, like you felt resistance to that thing, or it felt far-fetched or crazy. And then it talks about, it gets into, there's a phase one. It kind of talks about like, I think the whole focal point of this book, it kind of goes deeper than the introduction goes. And it kind of talks about her personal story of how like she was raised in a Christian household, and that how she's kind of angry with God and she really, really wanted to know him. And she had used all these like most Christians do, like I have done, use these tricks to kind of like have God love you and be like, oh, I pray every morning and like I help other Christians and I do all these things, but like that love for her, as I've experienced, was not actually there. It was kind of just like her just trying to like be a better Christian in order just not to get punished for her sins. But there wasn't like this deep longing, I guess you would say, to know God. So then we get into day one, which is the one that I just did today. There's a morning portion and then there's an evening portion. So the morning portion of day one, to kind of like recap what's in it, is the honor of the divine, how to honor the divine with truth. And it kind of talks about how we're raised on certain things that aren't true, that we hold true for so long. And if we don't kind of search for that truth, we'll never know that truth. But in searching for that truth, it comes with knowing the truth, and then it comes with kind of dismantling what we've already known to be true. And both of those are its own healing process. And then she kind of talks about some of the truths that she knew. And then she kind of goes into how she found the real truths and what those truths are to her. And how everybody's truths are kind of different based on their experience with God. Some of the things that I highlighted was that one of the truths that she was told that she thought was confusing and now she kind of understands is to follow your first thoughts. And I think this one I highlighted it because I get told that so many times. And like within reading the chapter, it kind of like did a full circle for me because I was like, holy crud. Like she talks about how like God is living within us, and that he dwells in us and we were created in his image. And how like the sheep always knows the voice of the shepherd is what she brings up. And how the truth will always bring us back to this divine idea in the mind of God because he's in our minds. And I was just like, oh, I actually do need to follow my first thoughts because God's instilled in me. God's in me, and while he dwells in me, he's instilled in me certain intuitions that I should know to be true, or that I know that is true. But sometimes I get so in my head and I'm like, oh, is this me? Is this God? And like I was watching this TikTok and it was always like the truth. If you're like struggling with that, whatever it is that you think should lead you closer to God is God speaking in you. And I have to remember like to follow my intuitions, even if I'm wrong, because God will use my wrongdoings and like my missteps to his glory, for his glory, and like revert where I went left, he'll make it like a full 360. Shasha talks about some truths that she's like kind of come up with that's kind of helped her. One of them that stood out to me is God is within you in every living thing. Translated, this means that every living thing is a unique representation of God's identity, mind, spirit, and life. That one stood out to me because, like, in my life, I've had people do things wrong to me wrongdoings against me. And it kind of just like, my brain was kind of like trying to grasp this idea, because I'm like, oh, that's like, how do I like accept that fact when like wrong has been done upon me, and these people are supposed to be representations of God, and that God dwells in these people just as much as he dwells in me. And so that one was kind of like, whoa. One of them that I pointed out that kind of like I felt resistance to was, God does not punish us. We punish ourselves with guilt, shame, and fear when we choose not to act in accordance with our inherently divine nature. That one I was like, I don't know. I still struggle with that one, to think that God doesn't punish me, because part of me has this idea that I serve a just God, which means he has to punish me, right, when I do wrong. But he can't punish everyone every day, right? So like that one was like, and then the last thing I highlighted was this that stood out to me. By reminding yourself daily that you are a perfect and unique representation of all that God is, you'll find that you are equipped to handle anything. I was like, okay. And then in this, they have like commentary journals. So you do a commentary journal in the morning. In the morning ones, I feel like are kind of thick, because you just kind of read something and it's kind of like dwelled on you. The evening ones are more like your own truths versus what you just kind of read. So like my morning one, it said, after reading today's commentary, I realized. And then for me, it was that I've been living in limiting beliefs and unabsolute truths. Somewhere in my reading today, I cried and continued to cry, and I'm not quite sure why. And I don't know if it's because she talked about feeling guilty that Jesus died on the cross for us. And I don't know if I all the time feel guilty about what's Christ done for me. Or maybe that I am an image of God, just like the people who have hurt me, and how to wrap my head around that whole process. But also within reading it, I think I felt like God kind of heard me, because I like to think that he can't hear me, and he doesn't hear me, because I'm not this perfect Christian, and I know that's not what he wants from us. He wants us to be as close to Christ-like, but you know. But the whole sheep always knows the shepherd's voice kind of got to me. It says, and then the next question is, the key phrases I want to remember and work with today are that I'm a representation of God. God is just and does not want to punish us or others, as we are all representations of God. I probably need to be better at governing my mind so that it can follow in accordance with being a representation of God. Like self-negative thoughts that I have, because I'm not even, when I say negative things about myself, I'm not saying it just about myself. I'm saying about all the things that God has done for me to get me to this point, but I'm also saying them about God as he dwells in me. I'm instilled with the recognition of God's voice as he lives in me, and it would be odd for a child not to know its parent's voice, which also means I should not be so fearful of following my own tuition, because in a way it shows that I don't trust the living God who dwells in me by not following my own intuition. And then it kind of goes through some affirmations. So because day one was about truths, it's truth affirmations. And one of them was, the truth is that God believes in me. So for the evening one, that's the one that I just finished. It goes, I blank am open to know the truth about myself as it relates to. And then the next one goes, I blank am open to know the truth as it relates to. And then the last one goes, I blank accept as truth that I. And so they kind of want you to fill those points in. And for that one was kind of hard for me. So I kind of kept it kind of simple. Like my first one was that I am open to know the truth about myself as it relates to God, love, self-promises, and self-sabotage. My next one was, I am open to know the truth as it... Okay, that video cut out. But for my second one, I put, I am open to know the truth as it relates to love, justice, expansion, evolution, and growth. And then lastly, it said, I accept as truth that I am loved by God, that the living God dwells in me, and that he wants to see me be loved properly as he loves me. He cares for me and will not leave me. He does not want to punish me when I do wrong, for he is a loving Father. And then I lastly ended with Jesus is the perfect groom. So day 2 will be about trust. And I will go over that one tomorrow when I do it. Peace out, Girl Scout.